It's Kevin with Earth2 Mastery, and tonight we try to take over the world. Grab your planters because you're going to go nuts for this one. We've got some special news on the Stage 2 test website. We've got news on the Facebook Diem coin. There's good stuff going on. All right, so right now we're 2 days, 16 hours, 17 minutes, and 2 seconds away from the Earth2 terrain video drop. Very exciting. First things first, I've got my 5% discount code in the description down below. I greatly appreciate it when you guys decide to use that while purchasing new tiles. It helps support me and my channel with the 5% rebate that I get. So we each get a 5% rebate if you use that when purchasing new tiles. Saves you money, and I get a little credit to buy some more land too so that I can be an Earth2 Baron, mastering it. Okay, guys, so if you do use the code and leave a comment down below, I will pick from those comments to give away a tile on our island of Grenada on my next video. I have a winner from last night's video. I'll share it at the end of this video. Okay, here we go. We're on stage2-app.earth2.io. This is where I showed you the other day that they have the EPLs, which I guess is the Earth2 property locations. I was thinking P stood for portal, but somebody pointed out that if you hover over the button, it shows property is the name. So Earth2 property locations. Those are the things that you can upgrade with Essence. So save up your Essence so you can get short names before other people grab them. So it's easy to find your properties. That's how you're going to get some foot traffic. That's how you're going to get revenue. That's how we're going to attract people to our places. Hopefully there's a search engine inside the game once it gets going that will allow them to search for certain types of properties. For instance, let's say you have an arcade. Maybe you can go in there and type arcade and it'll show Jimmy's Arcade. That's from the 80s. Billy's Arcade, Zoom Arcade, whatever you call your arcade. Maybe it'll find all the arcades and then people can pick on which ones to go to. But you want to have the word arcade in your title if it's an arcade. That way people can find it. That's my opinion. I don't know because it's not there yet. Okay. But what I wanted to show you that I glazed over last time, I didn't even notice because I was in a hurry and my internet was glitchy, is there's this button called Heat Map right here. If you click Heat Map, let me go to the next one over here. It shows you areas that have been purchased. So I zoomed out here so you could see basically the whole Earth. You could see areas where there's been purchasing going on. You can narrow it down to all-time purchases, last month purchases. Now you'll notice that the website, or I'm sorry, I guess that first one is all-time, and then last month, and then last week. Now you'll notice that it's not as up-to-date as the real Earth2 website, because it's just a test website, so they're not keeping it up to date. They're running scripts on there, I'm sure, putting buttons on there, making sure they work before they go live with it. It's basically a virtual copy of Earth2.io that they can progress more quickly on without taking the actual site down. So it's pretty cool. You can zoom in and out. You can see where the hotspots are. So as somebody else was pointing out, it might have been Stern. I can't remember who it was. I was watching several videos today, so I can't remember for sure who it was. But Russia's a giant country here. So if you saw that there was a lot of tiles being sold in Russia, you don't know how to find them. It's kind of hard to scroll all around the map and see where the tiles are sold. You got to zoom in to the tile level. If you're trying to load a big screen of tiles, it's hard on the servers, hard on your internet, hard on your computer. It takes a lot of processing power, and so you might not be able to see it. This heat map makes it easier, though, because you can go to where you can see it's glowing and go, oh, people are buying tiles there. Why are they buying tiles there? Zoom down in and buy tiles next to other people, or maybe find a resource that they are focusing on. I don't know what this one is, but you can zoom all the way down to the tile level and then see where people are purchasing. I wasn't quite centered there, so it doesn't show any flags, but that's the idea. And you can see if you zoom you've probably noticed this on the original website, if you zoom all the way down, there are these randomized tile numbers. Those are the property IDs. And you can see they're randomized. They're not in order because you go from a 1 to a 3, back to a 1, to a 3, to a 1, to a 3, to a 1, 6. So they're random. And that is something else that I want to talk to you about, all these property IDs. I have pulled up my Vatican property here. My Vatican property is on the wall and just the very interior. I only have one tile. I was lucky enough to get it in December when someone was selling it in the marketplace. I wish I'd have been paying attention more because that's been a very popular property to get offers on. I've been offered as high as $200 for that property. I paid 20 cents for it. I turned it down because my opinion is they've been talking about all the properties that are being wiped in phase 2. But initially, when they were running their ads, there were some buildings, some structures that were left. I'm thinking ancient structures that are very important to religions or very important to businesses might actually stay or come back in later phases. The Vatican might be one of those. If it is, as far as I'm concerned, it could be priceless. Plus, there's a lot of Catholics in the world, and they're all going to want to go to the Vatican in Earth2, in my opinion. And so I might be able to have a business there, or at least get good advertising revenue if I have a tile there in Rome. I just don't want to sell it before I can see what it'll be. $200 is a lot of money for one tile, but I don't care. You can see I've got it for sale here for $1,000. If somebody wants to give me $1,000 for it, I'll sell it just because hopefully when Dubai opens, that would give me extra money to purchase in Dubai. And that's why I'm willing to sell it for $1,000 right now. If I don't sell it before Dubai opens and the prices start going up in Dubai, I probably won't sell it at all because I want to see how much it'll be worth. As far as I'm concerned, the tiles that I purchased at Disney World, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, SeaWorld, Legoland, Disney Shanghai, Disney Paris, the Vatican here, those are tiles that I'm not getting rid of unless I get obscene amounts of money for them because I just have no idea how much they're going to be worth one day. I have tiles on a diamond mine in Russia, the world's biggest diamond mine. If I were a developer, I would definitely make that a diamond mine just because you can basically see it. It's the deepest hole on Earth, I believe, at around 7 miles. It's visible from satellite imagery and everything. I would definitely have a diamond mine there. And so I'm not giving that up either. I'm not giving that up because I think it might be rich in resources. I'm not giving this up because it's so important religiously. And I'm not giving up any of my theme parks because, who doesn't want to visit theme parks even if it's in the game? Okay, anyway, the reason I pulled this up is because it's one of my oldest, it is my oldest property. I didn't buy it first, but whoever bought it before I bought any properties. And so it's the oldest property that I own. And I pulled up the property deed here. I've got it highlighted. And I go over here to DM Scan. Now, DM Scan is Facebook's coin. It was Libra. Facebook's been getting a lot of bad publicity because they censor everybody and stifle free speech. So they switched from Libra to Diem. Diem is run by its own organization. So even though I believe it's still owned and funded by Facebook, it's a separate organization. And DM Scan is basically like Etherscan. So when we had Etherscan on the app in our settings, and I went in there and I found an Earth2 token, maybe it was experimentation, maybe it is going to be the token, the Earth2 token, or maybe it's going to run on DM Scan. And so what I did, and I think Randy Chavez was doing this. I don't know where he learned about it or if he just figured it out himself. I was playing around because I couldn't quite tell what he did. So I was having to play around with it myself. But I took that property deed ID and I put it in the address and it didn't work. Nothing happened. Okay, nothing happened when I searched for it on DM Scan. It just said it couldn't be found. But then I took all of the dashes out of it because that made it look more like the addresses that I was seeing on DM Scan already. And then it actually came up with this page, which shows received transactions, none, sent transactions, none. But it does seem to correlate with a number that could be a DM address. So if each one of our properties is an actual DM address, or you guys probably know more about blockchain than I do. Maybe it's even its own wallet. I'm not 100% sure what this page means with received transactions and sent transactions. I don't know if that means that this block can go to somebody else and that will show as a received or sent transaction, or whether this is an actual wallet and resources and stuff like that can be gathered and stored in this wallet. I don't know the full capabilities of Diem. So if somebody out there knows, please let me know. But here's what I know. Dylan Tsao was a co-founder of Oculus. Oculus is owned by Facebook. clearly, if he's going to start funding another project, one of the first things he's probably going to be thinking is, will Facebook buy this project? And so if I were him and I was going to make a blockchain project and there was any possibility of, I know he wasn't the one making the blockchain project, but if he was funding the blockchain project, I would let the people know that I was funding it with, that if there's any possibility that I could make it on the Facebook coin, that I would do that. That way it was more attractive as a potential takeover prospect from Facebook's point of view. I mean, he's already made a lot of money by selling Oculus to Facebook. There's no reason he wouldn't want to replicate that success if he could. Plus, this is going to go hand in hand with Oculus if we get to the VR level, because Oculus, in my opinion, is going to get the majority of the market share when it comes to VR headsets. Maybe Apple will come out with some Apple Glass or Apple glasses or whatever, and then they're going to be innovative enough that they're going to take some of that market share. But right now, with as many users as there are on Facebook, and as many people already have Oculus products, and as I have Oculus Quest 2, it's just amazing. Facebook isn't my favorite company, but I can't deny that Quest 2 is awesome for what it is. The price point was right. The game options are easy to get to in the Oculus store. The prices on them aren't too bad. They're pretty well developed. You get updates automatically in there. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to make it so that they could pair well with Oculus so they could sell to Facebook. And if that's the case, and it is possible to build it on Diem, but Diem's a stable coin, which would make sense when e-dollars match dollars, because Diem's supposed to be a stable coin where one Diem is worth $1. And so if they can keep it right at that level, that will make transactions easier. And hopefully the game is actually running on the blockchain to protect our titles and deeds. But it would still be worth $1, so it would be easy for us to figure out how much it was worth and a way to value it. Anyway, so there's no proof there. It's just like the Earth2 token on Etherscan. There's no absolute proof. The devs won't admit that they're building on that the site is built on blockchain. I don't know if it is, or if they have built it in such a way that they can move it over to blockchain. I'm not technical enough to know that. Hopefully somebody comes along that is and can tell us, because I would really like to know. But they're definitely keeping it under their hat for now if that's the case. But as many blockchain games as there are, as popular as they've become and how profitable they are, I'm pretty sure it's probably a blockchain game, or a game built on the blockchain with its own NFT or a non-fungible token that is going to be inside the game. Now, if there's a non-fungible token that is directly related to Diem, or if it's built on the Diem blockchain, I don't know. But it's pretty amazing that you can take that number and shrink it down, and it's so similar to a blockchain address that you can actually get some result here, even though technically it doesn't give us any details on it. It is an actual result instead of just an error like I was getting when it had the dashes in it, or when I was trying to check the block IDs instead of the address information. Okay, guys, so that's all for today. I have, let me get this here. Go over to the YouTube random search thing. Put that address in there. YouTube comments. Looks like we had 34 unique commenters. You can see what I do is I filter duplicate users, but I include replies to comments in case somebody makes a comment down below. Let's start here we go. Robin Ninemitz. Okay, I see you commenting all the time. I'm happy that you won. That's exciting for me. So get a hold of me through Discord on private message or Facebook on Messenger, and I'll get you an address to that tile in Grenada that you can make a penny offer on, and I'll give it to you. So congratulations, Robin. And remember, everybody, make sure to leave a comment on every video and watch to the end of the video to see if you won. And also, I have sponsors down in the description below that include Coinbase and TransferWise, which I use to withdraw my money from Earth2, and also the code on Earth2 where we can both get a rebate if you use it on new tiles. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you tomorrow.